hotter uranium stocks. The upcoming rally in uranium will make your portfolio glow in the dark in all the right ways. So let's take a look at some of my favorite uranium stocks. When we talk about uranium, you notice everything starts with a Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Why? Because this gives us not only an indication where the uranium price is going, but also about the sentiment of the market. That's really important with uranium because you have a lot of small stocks in the uranium sector, which means this one is primarily dominated by retail investors and they react to sentiment. So once the party gets rocking in uranium, that's why I always say, once the uranium stocks go, they really go, because then the retail investors start to jump in. Very few retail investors invest like we do. We look at these trends early, we look at the next hot stories early, we get in early, and then we ride the waves with the swing trades. Most retailers just jump on things when they get hot. Now, there are very few blue chip stocks in the uranium sector. Obviously, by far the biggest one and best known one is the Canadian uranium producer Cameco. Yes, you have like Kazatomprom, but that is absolutely not an investment that I would even consider in this new political climate. Now, Cameco chart, as you can tell, looks pretty good. Nothing to sneeze about, but to me, Cameco, not one of my favorites. Why? Because there always seem to be problems with some of the mines, most notably Cigar Lake. And it has been an underperformer. When uranium stocks go, Cameco will go up, but smaller uranium stocks go up further. However, this chart is a really good setup for something that I would like to talk about. As you can see here, when we look at the chart, and let me go to the weekly to show you even better what's happening here. Look at this. So Cameco, obviously, oh, this is great because this shows you, look at what's happening when the uranium party gets started. Cameco back then was around like $2, $3 you could buy it in 2022. Yeah, it went up to 60. And that was the blue chip. So imagine now what's going to happen to some of the smaller uranium stocks where we have more retail investors in the market for the upcoming uranium rally. Super exciting, no doubt. And as you can see, this horizontal support zone, this pivot zone where when it's above, it stays above. When it's below, it stays below, right? Broken last summer, 2023. Excellent. We're above now, bullish. This one goes back all the way to 2006, 2005 even. Wow. So this is a big zone. And it connects right here with the long-term uptrend channel. So obviously we know when we have multiple technical factors colliding, like here, the pivot zone and the lower end of the uptrend channel, then more often than not, the stock price, once in the proximity, will be drawn to this area. So I would absolutely respect if you, in this like August, September area, would have said, okay, here, I'm gonna wait till the price drops down to this area. Because quite frankly, that's what I was looking at. I was eyeing the uranium sector after we got the news out of Kazakhstan and Russia, but I was like, let's wait and see if we can get to this zone. Well, with the new Microsoft news that we have in the US, which basically shows, so the Kazakhstan and the Russia news, they affect the supply side, but the Microsoft news, that affects the demand side as well. So now we have a completely new situation, and that means this scenario here, it's off the table. Don't wait for it. This is one of the big mistakes that people make, right? They look at Cameco here and they're like, well, I'm gonna wait till it comes down here. It's highly unlikely that it's going to come back down there. Why? Because the fundamentals have changed and improved. Now, I'm not going to buy Cameco, but one of the companies that I am interested in is Energy Fuels. It's one of the second row of companies. It's closing in on $1 billion market cap, so that's really small for institutional investors still, but it's getting there. It does uranium and rare earth. We like that. It's a producer in the US. We love that. Those are going to be the uranium companies that go up the highest, with the highest profits in this upcoming uranium rally. And you can see it reclaimed the uptrend from 2020. Nice. And we see something that we will see with a lot of uranium stocks that I'll show to you in the coming days and weeks. We see this triangle, right? That's dominated by the uptrend, and we're starting to run into the peak formation here, and that will trigger a breakout, and it'll be significant one way or another. And the fundamentals say it's probably going to be to the uptrend. So that's going to be the big trigger. That's going to trigger the uranium rally. When the stocks start to break out of that triangle formations that, as I told you before, and I'll show it to you, we'll see with a bunch of them. So, way smaller, Energy, really like this company. Small producer, just ramping up their production in the US. Know the management, very conservative, competent management. Not big promoters. They prefer to let their actions speak for themselves and doing a really good job with that. This stock doesn't really pop that much because they don't do that much promotion. It's not as well known as some of the other uranium companies, but fundamentally excellent. Everything we want to have. North America, preferably US, check mark. Competent management, check mark. Good chart situation, check mark. As you can see, still in an uptrend. Perfect. Producer, check mark. We don't want the explorers right now. We want the producers right now. Now, another one that obviously we always need to talk about, uranium energy. Full disclosure, I've been invested in uranium energy since, I think, 2020. So it's been like a 4-bagger for me. That's quite nice. I sold a little bit up in this rally. Not at the top, that would be a lie, but I was like up in this area here. Why? Just to trim the position, because it became huge, because it was a huge success. Now, this company is really heavy on the promotion side, which is one of the reasons why it's very popular. So when we're looking at a company that's going to be partying the hardest at Club Uranium, those guys here at Uranium Energy, while being a good company, they're also the ones that are going to be standing on the table with a champagne bottle in each hand and dancing and screaming and spraying the champagne around. They're these type of guys, okay? They're loud, they're out there, and that's why people notice them. And when this stock goes, man, it goes. Look at this run. Or if we go back 2019, look at this run, right? When this one gets going, it really gets going. The uptrend, absolutely intact. Didn't even get close. Same situation as Cameco. You see, these uranium stocks, they're run fairly similar, right? Why? Because they're run on sentiment, right? If the sentiment is good for uranium, and it's changing now, and it's going to get really good once this formation gets solved to the upside, that triangle formation. But same situation, right? You have this pivot zone right here, it kind of crossing the uptrend. Yeah, when we're talking about August, September, you would say, okay, it's going to come down here likely because we're still in the weak uranium market. But now the facts have changed. So this buy zone off the table. Where would I look to buy this stock now? Probably here, this zone 555 down to 535, that would be my first target zone to get in on a long position on uranium energy. Well, we'll be talking more because there are a lot more uranium companies, and quite a few of them are excellent companies. What's going to be quite interesting is, and going to be one of the factors why if you're going to own the right uranium stocks, they're going to go up hardcore, is there are a lot of uranium stocks out there, especially in the Explorer section. Yeah, most of them are shit. Oh, I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, but that's the truth, right? You have a high percentage of frauds in there. You have a high percentage of companies there that have uranium claims and fields, but the uranium is like super low grade, and there's no way that they're ever going to turn this into a viable project in the near term. We have to remember that uranium projects, just on the permit side, are the most time consuming projects there are in the commodity sector. So when the explorers come out and say, oh, we have this claim, or we have this great uranium uh, uh, numbers that we see here and everything, oh, that's cute. Well, what do you have on the permit side? Right? How far developed are you? Because it's gonna take a long time to develop a uranium project. Now, law's gonna get changed in the US for sure toward pro-uranium, towards uranium, but not that much that these stocks gonna move. They're gonna move purely on sentiment, so they're gonna come at the later stages when the euphoria kicks in. But there's only a handful of good uranium companies, and that's where the capital really gonna crowd in. So they're gonna go up substantially. It's gonna be a great uranium rally. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.